Hello, I'm OC, and I go by Ominous OC on Discord, and this is a quick video to just show you how to do branching if you would like to upload multiple tables at once to the 4KP VPX standalone repository. This is a follow-on video from my first one showing you how to upload to the repository, so make sure you watch that if you haven't seen that already. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to Git and we're going to sync your repository so that we're all up to date. So if we go into GitHub, you should already have a repository forked from the previous video. So we can see my name is at the top left, Ominous OC. So this is my fork. And right in the middle here, you can see it says that I'm 68 commits behind. So first things first is that we need to sync up this fork so that we've got all of the tables and updates that have been committed since we last used this repository. So it's very simple. We just click the sync fork button here and then update branch. There we go. So that is updated now. And then we can do the same in our GitHub. We can fetch from the origin, and that will say that we have 68 commits behind, just like we just saw. And then we need to pull, so we can click the blue button or click the title here again. So I'll click that. And there we are. So we're all synced up now. Now that we're synced, we could go ahead and create our first branch. So the way this works is we are going to take our repository and then we're going to split that off into its own individual set of changes. Sort of similar to the forking process for the whole repository, but this is a little bit more of a granular level. We're going down a level here. We're going to have specific changes on a specific branch here. So to do that, we can see in the top left here that we are currently in the main branch. So that's good because we've just got all the commits from main. And what we can do is we can click on the drop down here and there is a new branch button. So if we click on that, now here we want to give it a name. So I've prepared two tables that I want to add to the repository. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to call it one of the table names. So I'm going to say VPX strike. That's one of the tables I'm going to add. Once you've given it a name, you can click create branch. Now you will know it's worked because this name at the top here will now say your branch name rather than saying main. So now we have this, our files in our Git repository. All these files are now going to be saved to this branch rather than previously where it was going straight into main. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away, I'm going to add my new table, the VPX strike table, and then I'm going to come right back and I'll show you what I've done. Okay, so I've got these two tables that I've created and I tested on my 4KP. And it's easier at this point if you are going to use multiple branches to try and keep these files out of your repository files for now so that you can check them in the correct order and in one go. So I've got strike here. This is the first one I'm going to do. So I'm going to leave Soccer King for now. And I've copied this over into this folder, into my repository folder. And then I've corrected the readmes and sorted all the files out. So you can see in the GitHub desktop, I've got the line added to the main readme. I've got the VPX strike readme as well. And then I've got all the individual files and the preview file all set up. So it's very similar to what you did originally. But what we can do now is I can check this in. So let's say added strike. And then we can commit that. And then just like before, we push the blue button to publish that. Or yeah, the wording's a little bit different there because it's publish. So now that we have committed that and we have published that branch, we can go back into the main GitHub repository, and you'll see here that we have our VPX strike and it's had recent pushes, and it's saying, would you like to compare and pull request? So that is exactly what we would like to do. So we can do that, compare and pull request. And here at the top, you notice it's asking us where we want to merge this into, and it's got the Legends Unchained user at the beginning of that repository. So we know that that is the main repository, and we want to put it into the main branch. So that's all good. So just like before, this is one last chance to just double check your files and make sure everything is correct. Have a read or two reads of your README so that you know for sure that it is correct. Make sure your images are correct. And it all looks good. So we can create this pull request now. So that is now ready for Little Alien to have a look at. And if we pop into Discord, we should see in the configs update channel, we've got our pull request. So now we have one. What would normally happen if we did another commit is that our files would go into this pull request. But what we're going to do now is we're going to get the next table in, and I'm going to show you how to do a separate pull request for that one. So the first thing to do is to go back into your GitHub desktop. We're still currently in our VPX strike current branch. What we want to do is very similar to before. We want to go here. We can go back to main, so that's what I'm going to do. Now we are at a clean slate. We're in the regular main. We are just on as if we haven't done any changes. And from here, from main, we can do a new branch from main, and we can give it our other title. And create branch. And now we're in the same position as we were for VPX strike. I'm going to go away and I'm going to set up all the files just like we did originally into the main repository local files, and then I'll be right back. Okay, and just like before, I have added the specific files for this new table to my repository local files, and I've updated the global README to include this line. So we've got the global README, we've got the table specific README, and then we've got all the associated files all ready. So I'm going to add in the commit. We commit that just like we have done before. Same as before, we'll do publish branch. And now in our Git repository, we see our new branch has a recent push. So we've got Soccer King, and it's asking us, would we like to create another pull request? So just like before, we'll do create a pull request. I'm happy with the name. We have another chance to just double check all the files. And that looks okay. So then we can create pull request. And now again, we should see, if we have a look, we have a new pull request in the config updates channel. So we know that that worked. At this point, now that you've got those pull requests submitted, you want to, just like in my original video, go onto the global spreadsheet and add in those tables that you've just created pull requests for. So that's one last thing for you to do before you wrap up and call it a day. Okay? And that's it. I hope this has been helpful, and please reach out to me or any other regular contributors on the Discord if you have any problems or questions.